Welcome to the Sports Bash pre-show presented by Chitty's Cheesesteaks. They have been voted best cheesesteak on Long Island for 3 years in a row and have been proudly serving the island since 2014. A good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. A little bit later on, WizKid will have this day in sports history. Lots to do on the show, but first of all, good morning, Vinny.
Good morning, Peter.
You have a good weekend?
Excellent.
I have to tell you, I had so much fun with Cheryl and another couple at One Night with Queen in the ticketbash.com VIP deck at Bald Hill Saturday night, One Night with Queen. It was a terrific show, and I have to tell you, it was an unbelievable experience to see that there.
Yeah, it's actually a very unknown secret what they have going on out there, and the night, I think Saturday night was just spectacular.
I mean, the weather was great. And I know we've given some tickets away for the VIP deck before, and I can now speak firsthand as to the entire experience of going to a show there. The VIP parking is amazing. You get in, you get right out. The entrance is great. You get the private entrance. The bar access, you get your own line to go to the bar. And the view is just unbelievably spectacular. The show was great. The guy who plays Freddie Mercury was spot on. The band sounded so much like Queen. It was. You thought you were at. If you closed your eyes, you thought you were at a Queen concert.
Yeah. Was there a band, an opening band?
There was not an opening band. They had some other DJs that were doing like a warm up, giving away prizes and everything. But they had a great crowd. Saw Joe Girani stop by the deck to say hello.
Joe.
Yes, absolutely, from JVC and LI News Radio. Great. The bottom seating was just about all filled. Lots of people up on the grass with chairs and everything. I would say there was about 2,500 people there at the show. It was really nice. I know they have a few shows left during the course of the summer, but I just want to tell everybody, if you want a great experience to see a show at Catholic Health Amphitheater at Bald Hill, especially if you're in the ticketbash.com VIP deck. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, it was and you got to put some faces to some names, I heard.
Right. Well, I met Tay there. So, and I've been just interacting with her on emails and everything with the ticket winners, right? And I know that she is such a good employee and so well deserving of a trip to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, I
think. Somebody got put up to that one.
Well, I mean, she does such a good job.
You fell for it.
But all joking aside, it's a wonderful place to see. And you said it before, it's kind of like a hidden gem on Long Island to see a show. And I know they're already working on next year's lineup at Bald Hill. And there's one in particular that has me very intrigued. I'm not going to spill the beans on it just yet because I know that they're working very hard on it. But if you know me, you kind of probably could figure out what they're working on for next year. But I know they have a couple more. Jordan Davis, is coming up. Jordan Travis.
Cole Swindell.
I got the Jets on my head with Jordan Travis as a future quarterback. Jordan Davis, Cole Swindell is coming up.
Yeah.
So it's still some opportunities for people to get a chance to go see a show at Bald Hill. And I just think the whole atmosphere there was great. The acoustics were phenomenal. It was a beautiful night. Of course, everything worked out well between the weather, the show, and the venue was just fantastic.
Always great when a plan comes together, right?
It's amazing. Yeah. And you get the nice table with the bar stools there on the deck. It was pretty good. I have to tell you something. You spoiled me on Saturday night.
Uh-oh.
We might have to go catch another show there before the summer
only two
is
left. We'll get you next year at worst.
Next year. Well, there's going to be one in particular if it works out that I'll have to reserve that. We're going to get some more of the show at another time, but obviously it was a big weekend for the Mets and the Yankees. The Yankees a little bit better than the Mets. The Mets had a chance to win 3 out of 4 against the Padres, and they let yesterday's game slip away.
That ninth inning, that killed them, right? That was
they're up 2-0 going to the 8th. They give up the 2-run homer to Profar. And then the game-winning home run in the 9th inning. As far as the Yankees go, boy, what a power surge again yesterday. I mean, we run out of things to say every day on the show when you talk about Aaron Judge. And it's funny in a way. He's got 51 home runs, which I mean, right now he's the American League MVP, I would think.
Yeah.
You could say it's Juan Soto too, because in any other season, what Juan Soto is putting up this year in numbers, and he had another home run yesterday, to be, I don't know if outclassed is the right word by Aaron Judge, but Juan Soto is having an MVP season for the Yankees.
He sure is, and we have to go with the captain. Looks like we're
about to join our radio audience coming up in a few seconds. Sports Bash coming right up.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal by the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, located at 1 John Street in Babylon. Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more info, please visit martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning, everyone. Peter Schwartz, along with Vinny Tickets. Wiz Kid's going to join us a little bit later in the show. We're going to have This Day in Sports History. We'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question. And I say once again, for those who were not with us on the pre-show, I say good morning to Vinny Tickets.
Well, good morning, Peter.
Good weekend, obviously. We talked about it on the pre-show. You had a nice weekend. I had a great weekend as well. Got to see one night with Queen at Bald Hill Amphitheater on Saturday night. Yankees take 2 out of 3. The Mets have to settle for a split. All in all, not a bad weekend.
Yeah, it was good on all fronts. Did a lot of eating, a lot of drinking. Went to dinner Saturday night. Was at a barbecue Saturday afternoon. 2 barbecues yesterday. Friday night I had dinner. So unfortunately, I did the stupid thing my wife said to me this morning. Why would you even get on the scale? I said, I just want to see. So I gained 7 pounds from Friday morning till this morning.
It just gives you the extra motivation to get back to the gym this week and do your thing. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the second half of the show, but Friday night was the Marty Lyons Foundation Bowling for Wishes event in Levittown. It was a great time. I'll talk more about that in the second segment. But right now it is time for the Sports Bash Flash. It's brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash. Get a free dessert with your meal. Let's begin in the Bronx. The captain continuing his assault on his own record.
Pitch. Judge flies it. Deep left center field. Number 50 could be on its way, and it's gone. Goodbye. The captain. Half-century mark.
That was Emmanuel Berbari on WFAN, and Judge was just getting started. Yankees go on to beat the Rockies 10-3. Aaron Judge, 2 home runs, now has 51 on the season, 11 shy of his American League single-season record. He is also the 5th player in Major League Baseball history with 3 50 home run seasons. Judge's second home run was the middle bomb as Juan Soto, Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton went back-to-back in the 7th inning. We touched on this, Vinny, on the pre-show, but Aaron Judge clearly having another magical season already with 51 home runs, and he's on pace to at least tie the 62 he had 2 years ago. Lost in the shuffle is the amazing season that Juan Soto is having with the Yankees. It could be his only season with the Yankees if they don't get him signed. But you talk about this 1-2 combination that the Yankees have put together this year. And now Giancarlo Stanton is getting hot, coming back off the injured list. I mean, you got these 3 guys coming up in a lineup. Not too many people are going to walk Aaron Judge now if Stanton stays hot like this.
No, you can't. You can't. And that's a true lineup. You need to protect each other in the lineup, and that's exactly what they do. And, you know, when they throw an insult Judge's way and he does what he did last week and goes yard, you know, they have to look at it and be like, well, what do we do now? Yeah. You know, Stanton, we can't walk him. Stanton's hot. LeMahieu had a couple of hits. So, who knows? Maybe they're coming together, and we know it's a streaky game. It is really a game of streaks. And if this is, going into September, this could be a really good time to get a streak going.
Did you catch the moment when the fans were saying, "Please stay Soto"? Did you see that on TV yesterday? And he's laughing with Judge about it. I think the comment from Soto after the game was, "Well, have them to go talk to Cashman." So listen, the fans love Juan Soto. Obviously, the Yankees love having him. So now it's in the hands of Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner. You got to get this man signed. I know I sound like a broken record when we talk about this, but this cannot be. If you're the Yankees now, you see the magic that he brings to that lineup. You can't let him go.
Yeah. So I was watching the game yesterday, and I really find it amazing that a true superstar like a Soto, that him and Judge, you don't hear or see it unless there's something behind the scenes. But you never see, you see the two of them, the way they celebrate. They have their own little home run celebration, right? And you don't see, like, if I'm Juan Soto, like, I'm the man. I'm Juan Soto, right? I'm the greatest.
He's 25 years old.
Right.
Like, this is the tip of the iceberg for him.
It is just the tip. And
that's why I think Judge would be okay with him getting more money, because Judge is the captain. He wants to win. He wants to see the Yankees win not just one championship, but multiple championships. And when you think about, well, what would Aaron Judge think if Soto gets $50 million a year? I don't think he'll have a problem with it.
Yeah.
At least I don't think so.
Well, he's a team player. I mean, that will be the true sign. But if you look at the two of them, they interact very well. They bring the team up. They bring the level of play up. And I have to tell you that that could be one heck of a 1-2 punch for the next, 8 years, 7 years, 9 years. We'll take 3.
Yeah, listen, we're getting used to this right now. So, but listen, focus on the rest of this year, beat out the Orioles. Now it's a 1.5 lead because the Orioles lost last night. So all things good for the Yankees. After that weekend, they now move on to Washington. In San Diego, oh boy, did the Mets let this one slip away. This was unfortunate. They're moving along, a 2-0 lead. Then Jurickson Profar ties the game with a 2-run homer off Jose Butto in the bottom of the 8th. And then Jackson Merrill with the walk-off homer off Edwin Diaz in the bottom of the 9th. The Mets lose 3-2, and they are 5 outs away from winning 3 out of 4 in San Diego. And now they have to settle for a split, a day off going to Arizona. That's a tough loss for the Mets yesterday.
That's a tough one.
Especially because the Braves lost also. They could have cut it down to a 1.5.
Yeah, and when you look back, when October 1st rolls around, which will be in about 20 minutes, when October 1st rolls around, you look back at certain games, going into the 8th inning with a 2-0 lead, those are the ones that really hurt. When you miss by a game at the end of the year, right, and you look back on the year, there's 3 to 5 games that you're going to look at and be like, if we just could have held on to that 2-0 lead, back in August or back in July. And those are the ones that hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you think back on a season, and certainly there's games that you pull out that you probably had no business, pulling out. But when you have games like Sunday, when you were so close to winning, it really hurts. That you can't have all of them back. But then you start to think, if you get some of them back, think about the Yankees too. I mean, the Mets have had their issues. The Yankees had 10 blown saves by Clay Holmes and lost 7 of those 10 games. If you had 3 or 4 of those back, the Yankees are comfortably in first place in the AL East. Yeah. And for the Mets, listen, they're trying to catch the Braves for the 3rd wild card spot. You can't let those, the Braves had that tailspin, but now they're starting to win some games again. When they lose, you have to take advantage of it. No question.
No doubt.
WNBA tonight, the Liberty will try to bounce back. They had their winning streak snapped on Saturday at home against Connecticut. They're on the road at Phoenix tonight at 10 o'clock. I do want to quickly mention that tomorrow on the show, I know you're going to be going out to the U.S. Open.
This evening,
This evening, right? So tomorrow we're going to preview the U.S. Open with Julia Elbaba from NBC. She's a former tennis pro and a star at the University of Virginia, a Long Island native from Oyster Bay, and she'll be joining us tomorrow to talk about the U.S. Open. Who's going to win on the men's side? Who's going to win on the women's side? A lot of prize money up for grabs this year. I think it's a record prize purse at the U.S. Open, and obviously it's a great experience to get a chance to go. I know Ticketbash.com is there for anybody who wants to go see the U.S. Open over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, for certain. And any questions that you have about the Open, you could always call the office. We have experienced coordinators standing by to answer questions. Where to park? Where do you sit? What's the best value in the venue? You could always call the office directly at 631-250-6888. That's 631-250-6888. You could call the office of Ticket Bash, or you could also text that number and ask any questions you have about any ticket purchase you may have.
I'll throw in my 2 cents about the U.S. Open. If you want to go the first week, get a grounds pass, because while you can't get into Ash for the main events, and I don't think the grounds pass gets you into Armstrong anymore, but you get to see some great tennis on those outside courts. You get to experience being on the grounds at the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center.
I say by court sides.
Listen, whatever your budget allows, ticketbash.com's got your options. I like the grounds pass. I like to walk around, have some strawberries and cream, and watch the action up close on the outer courts. But, to each his own or her own. Coming back on Sports Bash in just a couple of minutes with This Day in Sports History and our poll question. Stay with us on Facebook and YouTube. We'll have some more during the break. We'll have a word from the Embassy Diner in Bethpage. It's all coming up as Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, rolls on this Monday. Coming right back. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, back on Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Coming up on the program, we're going to have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We'll recap what Friday's results were, and we'll take a look at today's. Also, we're going to have This Day in Sports History, and we'll tell you what else is coming up on the show this week. And just to piggyback off of what we talked about at the end of the first segment for the U.S. Open, it's really amazing how there are so many options for fans. Doesn't matter what they want to do, where they want to sit. There are some great options for fans over the next 2 weeks if they want to take in what is a very special event in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, keep in mind that the U.S. Open is one of the few, there's probably 6 or 8 national events. So when I say national events, you don't just get people from the local area. There are people that come to the U.S. Open Tennis Championships that come from literally, we've made sales from Japan, from all over Europe, and all over the United States. So it is a worldwide event.
It is like a little World Cup. It really is, coming every year to New York. We're coming right back right now. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. 631-451-1039 is the number to call. We can talk about the Yankees over the weekend, the Mets. If you want to talk U.S. Open, that's on the table as well. Peter Schwartz along with Vinny Tickets here on a Monday morning. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. First, let's look back at Friday's question. Do you think excessive home run celebrations in a random regular season game like we saw from the Mets' Jesse Winker last Wednesday are appropriate? And I know it depends on your perspective and your age. It's a different ball game now as far as how Major League Baseball wants to present themselves to the audience. They love appealing to the young kids who love to be excited about these home run celebrations. But overwhelmingly, 80% do not like these ridiculous home run celebrations of a random game. Now, I will say this, truth be told, when as a Yankee fan, I told Wiz this the other day, I went nuts when Jesse Winker hit that home run against the Orioles. So as a fan, I was jumping up and down the Citi Field, glad that the Mets beat the Orioles. Now, I didn't see Winker's celebration until I saw the tape later on in the day after I had recovered the phone that I had lost. But that's a story for another time that we covered already.
Go to socials.
Yeah, go to socials. It's well documented. But I think sometimes it gets a little too much.
Yeah. So I would be it would be interesting to see. So if you took that poll and we broke it down by age, and I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say if you went from 16 to 30, I think those numbers might flip-flop.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I think that if you went from 16 to 30,
yeah,
80% of them would say, yeah, it's great. We love it. It's the greatest thing. And then if you went old school, which is
like
the baseball
us,
that you and I know about, old school, old people. If you went to the 45 to 65 crowd, I think the poll would be 98% say it's not warranted.
Like, could you ever have seen? Well, Gary Carter did it a few times. But Gary Carter was that was his personality. But you think about like a Don Mattingly, if he had a walk-off home run, you'd never see that. Think back, we were talking about Soto and Judge before. Think about Mantle and Maris. Would you have ever seen Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle celebrate like that after a walk-off homer during the regular season?
No, you wouldn't.
Maybe in the playoffs. Maybe if you just won a playoff series.
Yeah, they would get excited. They'd jump up and down.
And I still don't know if they would, Jesse Winker pointing to the crowd, taking his helmet, flipping, throwing it at the dugout. I mean, that was just unbelievable.
The theatrics they come up with are pretty entertaining. But the difference is that I think in the old timers, it was strictly a celebration. I feel that sometimes some of these celebrations are actually disrespectful.
Yeah.
Right? When you're at home plate and you hit a home run and you stand there and you look at the pitcher, you look at the home run, you take your bat, you flip it in the air and give that kind of like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I did that, the flip.
Kind of thing. But I don't think you'd see that 50, 60 years ago.
No, and it goes in football too, because remember Mark Gastineau would always get criticized, and rightfully so at the time, for the sack dance. Now, it's one thing to celebrate you had a sack and everything, but a lot of times he picked up, penalties for excessive celebration. There was the one time against the Rams that Jackie Slater took exception to what he did during a sack at Shea Stadium, and it became a little bit of a battle on the field. But now in the NFL, you see these choreographed sack celebrations, and it's a totally different world now.
Yeah.
Let's get to today's question, and I think this is an interesting topic, and we'd love to get your opinion on this. So Danny Jansen, back in June, was a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. There was a suspended game between the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. That suspended game is being picked up and completed today. Since that time, Danny Jansen was traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox. So he is now a member of the Boston Red Sox, not the Blue Jays. As they pick up that game today, his spot in the order for the Blue Jays is coming up. So obviously he's going to be pinch hit for, but he is going to be catching for the Red Sox in the completion of the suspended game, which means he will be the first player in Major League history to play for two teams in the same game. Now, the question is, should that be allowed? Should he be allowed to play for the Red Sox in the completion? To me, I don't think so. I think you should make the Blue Jays replace his spot in the lineup with somebody from the minor leagues.
Wow, that's a really good one. I didn't see this coming. You know what? I think let them play. Let them go ahead and play.
Bad news bears. Let them play.
Of course, let them play.
Yeah. See, I just have this to me.
So why do you say not?
Well, because it's not. This is not a pickup game on the corner grass lot where like halfway through the game, let's trade Joey for Tommy, in the middle of the game. That works on the corner lot, but this is a major league game, and the stats count as if it was being played back in June. So how do you swap a player in the middle of a game and have him playing for the other team? To me, and listen, and I understand it's a unique circumstance, but the Blue Jays should be filling his spot in the lineup with somebody from the minor leagues. Like, he should not be allowed to play. I'm sorry, for the Red Sox, because he's on the Red Sox now. He should not be allowed to play for the Red Sox in that game. Just my opinion, because that he started the game with another team. How do you finish it with a different team?
Yeah, no, it's a good. I get it, but it's actually pretty interesting that has never.
It's never happened before,
right? That's pretty great.
Listen, I understand the uniqueness of it. just again, it's not a Sandlot game at the end of the block on the corner lot. We'll change players in the middle of the game and try and make things better.
See, that would have been a great Wiz question, right? No, I'm saying it's happening today, but who's the only player in history to play for two teams in one game?
In one game. Now, of course, we did have the question for Wiz some time ago about who played for two teams in the same day. And remember, it was Joel Youngblood got traded by the Mets to the Expos and played in two games in two different stadiums in the same day. Now, it would actually be interesting, if Danny Jansen was traded in between games of a doubleheader. I think that has happened before, where a player has played for a team in one game of a doubleheader and played for another team in the other, because all they had to do was swap clubhouses.
Two separate games, though.
Yeah,
right?
Two separate games.
Yeah.
So anyways, go to Sports Bash Media, Twitter, and X to answer that question. This day in sports history, here's Wiz.
Okay, in this day in 2018, it was the much anticipated amateur boxing fight between YouTubers and internet personalities KSI and Logan Paul. It ended in a draw after 6 rounds, and it would be the springboard for their boxing and pro wrestling careers and the start of their drink prime hydration. And let's not forget, Logan Paul's brother Jake Paul is going to be facing off against Mike Tyson in November, so I'm very excited for that.
Absolutely. That's good. It's going to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
A lot of people interested in that.
Yeah.
Friday night, the Marty Lyons Foundation Bowling for Wishes event. By the way, thank you, Wiz. The Marty Lyons Foundation Bowling for Wishes event at Levittown Lanes. Great event. They raised a lot of money, a lot of fun. Marty obviously was there. Kenny Shore, the other former Jet, was there. Tons of Jet fans. A couple of Wish kids were there as well. It was just a wonderful event with raffles. I won an autographed picture of David Cohn from his Perfect Game. It's signed by David Cohn and Joe Girardi, which was a great addition to the collection. So that was great. And they do wonderful work. And it was just another wonderful event where they raised some money for a very, very good cause.
Yeah, no surprise there.
And tonight, former Rangers goalie Mike Richter is going to be doing a hockey clinic presented by Pioneer Sports at All Sports on Rulin Road in Melville, 5:30 to 8 p.m. Go to www.massapequapal.org. Stay tuned to our social media channels later on tonight for my interview with Mike Richter that I'll be doing a little bit later on. And then tomorrow, we've got a great show. It's Free Ticket Tuesday. We're giving away tickets to see James Taylor at Jones Beach. I talk about great concert venues that it doesn't get much better than Jones Beach during the summer to see a show.
I'll be at that show as well. Check the forecast, looking like a fantastic night. So,
and on the show tomorrow too, we're going to talk about the U.S. Open. Julia Elbaba from NBC, a former tennis pro and a star at the University of Virginia, and a Long Island native, will join us on the show to talk about the U.S. Open at Flushing Meadow. And also tomorrow night, we're doing a special show at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, 6 o'clock to 6:30. Stay tuned to social for details on how you can see that show.
You did confirm 6 p.m.
6 p.m., 6 to 6:30 from Governor's Comedy Club. We're going to have a special guest still working on it today. So again, stay tuned to social, find out who that's going to be. So for Vinny Tickets, our entire staff, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching. Again, we're back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Have a great Monday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning.